Hello, YouTubers. This is Frank the Vamp, and welcome to World Cinema Reviews. Now, I gotta say, today we got a pretty special treat. We're going to review our first Spanish speaking film, and this is a wonderful, wonderful work called El Espinazo del Diablo, which is the devil's backbone. And this, before I start talking about anything else, we gotta say, I'm all about the directors, and this is uh, Guillermo del Toro's masterpiece. You may recall Guillermo, you may have heard of Guillermo del Toro, most likely, but if you have lived under a rock, or you just don't watch too many foreign films, you may have watched Hellboy, and but this guy is so awesome. If you heard about The Orphanage, and one of my personal favorites as well, Pan's Labyrinth. Um, this guy, it's he's a master of horror. And Guillermo del Toro, this Mexican-born director, he combines extremely disturbing, nightmarish visuals. His visuals in his films are beyond explanation. You just have to see it. Like if you could see hell and you could imagine what hell was like, Guillermo del Toro has a little bit of that thing in there. Because that the things that you see are so gothic, so bizarre, so just overwhelmingly unpleasant that and at the same time so beautiful that you just want to see and admire, Mr. Del Toro's work. So back to the Devil's Backbone here. This is starring Fernando T. as Carlos, the orphan, uh, Inigo Garces as Jaime, another bully orphan, Julio Valverde as Santi, playing the ghostly child, Eduardo Noriega, Marisa Paredes, Federico Lupi, and Irene Vaicedo. And well, when I'm gonna talk about the plot of this film, I'm gonna keep it like extremely short and concise because this film is so beautifully done and the story is just so interesting that I'm just gonna just talk, set it up for you, spoil nothing, and just um, let you enjoy this film because this is so beautiful. This is one of my personal favorites, and it's so awesome. I can't describe it. Words will not do this justice. So this film basically takes place in the middle of the Spanish Civil War. Talks about this orphanage that's hosting the children left behind. So this is very sad. This is talking about childhood, and this is what Guillermo del Toro's strong point is here. He talks about what it is to be a child during a horrible time, and how does a child cope with it? How can, in this horrible time, which is war, what does a child do? And after the carnage and the horrors of war, we see Carlos, this orphan child, no parents, parents left them behind. We don't, and you can imagine the horrors of war. So many children that their parents are dead and they're just running around looking for someone to help them out and not abuse them and not torture them. And lots of people during these times that take advantage of children, doing horrible things to them. So Carlos comes in as an orphan to this new orphanage. The whole orphanage is just so nightmarish on its own, without even talking about the supernatural part. That we'll get to that in a minute. But there's a bomb, an unexploded bomb that fell in the orphanage. It's like in the courtyard, and it's just there, like it was just there, left there. And creepy thing is that if you actually listen to it, you put your ear to the bomb, you can actually hear it ticking. So this is obviously a metaphor for the horrors of war, you know. But on its own, it's just so creepy. You just have this bomb that may or may not go off at any second and could kill everybody. And it's just a gigantic bomb. It's bigger than a man. That's how big, you know. It's probably wiped out a whole block. And it's just awful. And so Carlos comes in, and you know, we see into his life what it is to be a child in an orphanage and how hard that is. But the supernatural side of it is that he starts seeing visions of this ghostly apparition by supposedly this child called Santi, and this is just so nightmarish. That kid is so creepy. Um, I can only think of another creepier kid besides Pet Cemetery, and let me see. There's another great film. Oh, Ju-on, The Grudge. You know, that little kabuki kid, kabuki looking like kid. This to me is the creepiest child ghost I ever seen. Just see it, and man, it's gonna blow you out of the water. Recently, I also commented on the independent film Billy and Billy 2, and the director Suma Jr., who's starring, he did a little bit of makeup that kind of resembled that a little bit, and the creepiness level factor. So, but which I used to think that it was a homage, but it turns out that he was emulating other movies. But you know, it's just horribly creepy. This kid, you just got to see it, and I can all I can say about this film is it's just that we see the relationship of Carlos, who at first is terrified of Santi, but then he wants to find out how Santi got there. What is his backstory? And that is the gist of the film. How did Santi become a ghost? How, you know, was there foul play? And if there was, we see something pretty intriguing and horrible at the same time. I recommend this film. As many, I only have two thumbs, but if I have 85, I will give it 85 thumbs up. Wonderful film, awesome story, awesome direction, nightmarish visuals of the wazoo. Just gotta watch this film. If you haven't watched it, go out there, you know, download it, buy it, rent it, do whatever you have to do, but get this film. You will not be disappointed. This is a masterpiece. Little side note, I can't leave this film without talking about why the name, you know, the devil's, it's explained in one of the scenes, so this is not very much of a spoiler at all, but basically the devil's backbone is referred to what an undeveloped unborn child, such a fetus, you know, basically, preserved in a jar. And if you do look at how does an unborn fetus skeletal uh, body looks like, it looks really not human at all. It's at a certain development stage, it looks very nightmarish, sort of like a creature, a devil, if you would. And that's what the term the devil's backbone comes from, because there is a reference to this unborn, which is another metaphor again. This is full of metaphors. But the actual visual of this is really creepy, and there's a scene involves something with embalming fluid. I'm just going to leave it at that. What preserves this fetus? Yeah, gross. After you watch this, you'll completely agree. But this feels awesome. Watch it. I'm sure to bring you more Guillermo del Toro's work. You know, I talked about Pan's Labyrinth. That's awesome. You know, that's going to come. You know, that's another video coming soon. And I definitely want to encourage you to watch his work. This guy is a master. This Spanish Mexican collaboration is to be seen. I don't care if you see it with subtitles, or I always like subtitles. I'm not one of those guys that doesn't like them, No, I do speak Spanish, so I can enjoy it in the original language. But I seen a little bit of the dub version. It's fine. I don't see anything wrong with it. So whether you get to see it with subtitles or dub, or if you speak Espanol like me, uh, even better. So God bless you. Take care. Be good to each other. Be kind to each other. Watch this film. I'm out. Peace.